Hello my fellow book addicts, Megan here, and time for another book review. Today I'm going to talk about Inkspell by Cornelia Funke, and this is book 2 in the Ink World trilogy. So this book, in my opinion, is an amazing sequel. And this book is honestly the book that made me wish that there was like an actual book for Inkheart. I know what I'm trying to say in my head, but trying to word it makes it sound really weird and I feel it doesn't make sense. But I would just love to have a book, like the book version of Inkheart. Like as if Dustfinger, Capricorn, and Basta were never read out of the book. Like, not like Meggie and Mo's story, but just like what Dustfinger's story was supposed to be. Like, I want to read the book that Funke wrote. Because this book made me fall in love with that world. And I'd even go as far as to say that this book made me wish that the Inkheart movie had a sequel. Just so I can see, like, what that world could have looked like. Yeah, I'm not gonna go too much in the plot. This takes place like a year or so after the events of Inkheart. Dustfinger is still trying to return home, and he found a reader who could help him with that. Honestly, plot-wise, I don't feel I can say too much. Dustfinger is still trying to get home. Basta and the Magpie are still out there, so you know some stuff is gonna go down. And just, this is probably one of my favorite sequels to exist. I think I only had like one issue in this whole book, and I'll go into that in my spoilery bits, but just, this was a beautifully done sequel, and I am both excited and sad to go read Ink Death after this, because that means I'll be done with the series again. But at the same time, I'm also excited because I believe I've only read Ink Death once, and that was after its release years ago. So I am very, very, very fuzzy on the details. So I'm excited. It's gonna be like reading the book for the first time again, and yeah. Since I don't have too much more to say about the lovely Inkspell, I am going to go into a spoiler bit, so if you have not read this far in the series yet, highly suggest you click away now, because spoilers be ahead. So, just to get it out of the way, I'm going to go and talk about the one little thing that annoyed me. Just comments aimed at Meggie, being like, oh, girls around your age here are married, or get married by now, or, oh my god, you're old enough to get married here, yada yada yada. It's like, guys, she's 13 years old. Just her being 13 years old and having all these people telling her this, especially when like her and Fareed's relationship kind of was becoming a thing, just, it rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, okay, even if girls like that age get married in this story, in this world, it feels weird, especially when it's like Funke or her dad saying stuff like that to her. Because it's like, okay, in this world it may be common, but where you're from, not so much. So why are you going on about it? So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. And it got to the point where I was getting aggravated when it kept being like brought up. And I do hope that's not something that comes up a lot in Ink Death, because that will drive me crazy. I gotta say, Funke was quite entertaining in this book, especially him going on about like, oh, these characters not following the story, yada yada yada. Just, I will admit, to the point that kind of got annoying too, because it's like, dude, you're in their world now. Do you honestly expect them to follow out the story you wrote constantly for like all eternity? Like, you get to the end of that story and then it's like reset from the beginning. It's like, is that what you expected? It's like, in this world where you're in, everyone has free will. So naturally, you know, things might not go exactly as you've written. Though I do like kind of how at one point he was questioning, like, maybe they've been here all along, and maybe just I wrote out part of their story. Maybe they've been here all along and I was just putting their story into words, or whatever, however it was phrased. And I find that whole concept to be really interesting, and it makes me second guess a lot of the stuff I've written as well. I also felt a lot of secondhand embarrassment whenever he went on about like his characters and whatnot to the characters. It's like, dude, you sound like a madman. Another thing I liked is how a lot has changed since Dustfinger had left. Like, it's was sad, you know, him learning about the people he has lost, the people who have died since he vanished. It was sad knowing that, you know, hey, he's gone all this time and so much has changed. My heart went out to him, but I like that little bit of like realism there. Naturally, things aren't gonna be the same as they were 10 years ago. I don't know how else to describe it, but I kind of liked how Fareed got so jealous, even though I found it ridiculous, if that makes sense. Like Fareed getting all jealous over Roxanne. Maybe it wasn't the jealousy I got. I liked, maybe it was more like the pettiness. Just, it's such a human trait. He has grown really attached to Dustfinger. He is kind of that like older father and mentor figure to him. And to see like his attention being like brought strictly to Roxanne, or having his attention split between him and Roxanne, naturally he's not gonna like it. He's still young and he looks up to Dustfinger a lot, so naturally he's not gonna be too thrilled having to share his attention. Even though, you know, he's known Roxanne longer, he has deep feelings for Roxanne, and he missed her a lot. And I still absolutely enjoyed Dustfinger's character in general. He is just such a human character. Like, he's not particularly brave or selfless. He can be a coward and he can be selfish as hell. And I love seeing that in like a main character who isn't like an antagonist. Just these very negative, normal human traits being shown, and I loved it. And I just love Dustfinger. And my heart was breaking at the end when he traded his life to bring Fareed back. This poor guy has gone through so much to not die. He has gone through so much to keep living, even after he found out that he died in the book. He's just like, trying to do as much as he can to get around that. And here he is willingly giving his life up for this kid. A kid he hasn't even known that long in the grand scheme of things. But just how he so willingly and so he didn't hesitate, and my heart broke. And it killed me a little bit when they had to turn to Orpheus and bring him into the story in attempt and in hope to bring Dustfinger back. And can I just say, Orpheus, he's a character I love to hate. Just his arrogance. He's one of those characters that I would just love to punch in the face. Just first off, his arrogance, thinking, oh, I'm the best reader ever, there's no way this little girl could have read herself into a story when I can't. And then him refusing to accept the fact that Maggie read him into the story and he didn't read himself in. I'm just like, dude, how full of yourself can you get? And then him, first thing he wanted to do was sightsee. Despite him claiming to love Dustfinger and his character, basically him forcing Fareed to be his servant so he can still see the sights and write. It's just like, dude, you claim to love this character. He is dead. You read him into the book and hope to save him from Basta. And it's just like, what are you doing? And then just him wanting to sightsee in general. It's like, dude, this ain't a theme park. This isn't some fair or tourist attraction site. This is a legitimate world. The places you want to see are real places. The people you want to gawk at are real people. There is real danger here. And how he's was seeing everything as this big holiday. It's like, really? I know what it's like to love a book so much that you want to be in the book. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, dude, there's real danger here. I have a feeling that he's going to be aggravating me quite a bit in Ink Death. And yeah, it'd be nice if just someone could give him a little scare to maybe make him realize how real things are. The Adderhead was a very interesting antagonist. I feel I enjoyed him. He's someone I can imagine myself being quite afraid of. And just one thing that I find interesting and funny, Maggie giving Finoglio a hard time for loving his villains, loving his antagonists and writing them and making them bad. And when I was younger and reading this, I was siding with Maggie. Like, I'm like, well, how could you write someone so mean and yada yada yada? Adult me is just like, no, he's right. The antagonists, the villains, are the spice to a story. They are what make a story interesting. They give that much needed tension or conflict to make a story so engaging. I firmly believe a story is only as good as the antagonist. If you have a weak antagonist, the story, the conflict, it's gonna be weak. As much as I would love to read stories about my favorite characters just going through an everyday day, that would get dull after a while. So, older me, who enjoys writing, understands Finoglio loving, like, Basta, Capricorn, the Adderhead. I can understand why he takes such pride in his villains. Though I can greatly understand why Maggie is mad at Finoglio for liking his villain so much. I can imagine I'd feel quite differently if I was thrown into one of my own stories and had to go face to face with one of my own antagonists. I love this world. I love being able to see into the story of Inkheart. Like, seeing where Dustfinger is from, seeing, like, all the things that he has missed so, and it's just like, I love being able to see that. And, like I said, it makes me really wish we just had Finoglio's book. I would have loved to be able to get a book just as Finoglio wrote it. I doubt it would ever happen at this point, because this series has been finished for years, and I feel it's safe to say, at this point especially, there's definitely gonna be no Inkheart sequel movie-wise, though it'd be really nice to either get that book or get that adaptation just to see the world come to life. And this is probably one of the only times I wish that a book-to-movie adaptation had a sequel. And this was such a good book. It might be my favorite out of the trilogy so far. And I love this series. For anyone who has gotten this far in the video yet, what did you think? Do you agree with what I said? Did you disagree? Were there some parts that I didn't talk about that you liked and wanted to talk about? Let me know down in the comments and let's get a discussion going. And yeah, that is it for this video, and I hope to see you guys next time.